So again, thanks everybody for coming this morning. We're really happy to have you here. And with that, I'll hand it over to John. Thanks, John.
Thank you, Jeremy. No, it's all good. I haven't done anything. But thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. It is just an honor to be here and a privilege. First of all, can everyone hear me okay? Okay, great. It's hard to follow Jeremy's great radio voice, especially when you're a small man who sounds like Kermit the Frog when he's on the mic. But don't laugh too much. So, today is getting the last domino to fall. We're going to do some introductions in a moment. But the first thing I'd like to start with actually is a story. And by the way, my style is to just kind of move around. So if you're facing kind of the back, or so your back is to me, don't worry, I'm going to be moving all around and give you a chance to stretch your neck. I went hiking about 10 years ago, and I had the fortune to be hiking in the Alps. And it was exquisite. The mountain peaks were just majestic, covered with snow, perfect blue sky, and I was with my brother-in-law. The only problem is that I'm very scared of heights. Very scared of heights. And I'm not sure why I went hiking in the Alps. And it was kind of interesting. We got to this point, we stayed in this little, it's called like a hotel. I guess that's Elvish. And it was a little hut up in the Alps, and we stayed overnight in some little cots, and we got up the next morning and decided we were going to ascend this one little cliff. There was a trail, so we didn't need mountain climbing gear or anything like that. And what happened was that as we got kind of halfway up, I started to feel a little bit of panic. Like, ooh, I'm getting kind of high, and if I look down over there, I can see down several thousand feet. And it was starting to get me a little jittery. Well, we got near the top of this trail, and it was going up a little slope, and went up to the right, kind of sharp on an angle, and I got about 3 steps up that last angle, 15 feet below the top shelf, and I froze with fear. I crumpled to the ground and was lying on the ground. My brother-in-law looked at me and said, "John, are you okay?" And all I could do was just say, "Just don't touch me." Because anything that, if you touch me, I'm accidentally going to peel off the face of the rock and fall, thousands of feet, right? And I couldn't hug that rock close enough. I was just very scared. So, anyway, you're wondering maybe, how did I get here today? Did a helicopter come and take me off the cliff? Was I rescued by some ski patrol or something like that? Well, there was no snow, so it really wasn't that dangerous. Actually, as I was lying there, looking to my side, hugging the rock, a lot of 10 and 12-year-olds came running by and ran up the hill, and there were a lot of older adults walking slowly and grabbing a little chain that was there to help go up to steady themselves and so forth. And there I am, frozen. These children are coming up, they're kind of walking by and looking at me, and what's wrong with that guy? Because I'm in a fetal position on the side of this hill. So, that got me thinking, I need to change my mindset. How can I get control of this situation? And that story is the background, I think, of a lot of what I've been able to do in the last 10 years, especially working with organizations and individuals, helping them understand how to get from point A to point B when there's an obstacle. And what we're going to talk about today is this idea that point A is the beginning of the path, and point B is the ending, the first domino and the last domino. And problem is, there's usually challenges in between. Now you'll notice also I've got some other things I'm scared of. Thank God there were no spiders on that rock, and nobody was shouting at me. were all very nice as I walked by and said, it's okay, sir. It'll be okay, mister. So anyway, what I want to do now is talk a little bit about you. And I'm going to come back to that story. We'll leave it as a cliffhanger. Come on, you've got to laugh at those. All right, so what I want to do is have you kind of organize as table teams. All right, so there's some instructions on the screen. I'd like for each table, at your table, I want you to introduce yourself to each other, if you're comfortable, your name, where you're from, a skill or talent that you have, and something you'd like to accomplish in your lifetime, which doesn't have to be anything big or huge or grandiose, just something you'd like to accomplish. I want your table to decide on a table team name. And then please have someone prepared to help share at least just the names of your table, the name of your table team and the people sitting at your table. Okay, so I'll give you 15 minutes to talk amongst yourselves. I'll be walking around as well. And by the way, there are several youth council members scattered throughout. Please raise your hands. They are experts at this, and they have volunteered to help the tables just be vivacious, and so thank you for being here and helping out. So let's go ahead and get started doing that. Instructions are on the screen. I have a $5 bill. It's not much. It's not much. But you know, I love this part of facilitating when I get to hear the names, the table names, the team names. So it's not much, but I think this will buy you one handcrafted Italian biscotti to split among your table members. So we have another mic here. Let's see how to turn this on. Who knows how to turn button? How about, is there a volunteer table to go first? I like people to raise their hands, not stop. You going to turn that out? Is that up? There we go. Now we're all on.
Okay, our team name is the Advocate. And we actually
I'm sorry, the what?
The Advocate.
Nice and loud.
The Advocates.
Excellent.
Okay, and we actually have a lot of interesting. We have a very active mom, Rachel, and she's really proactive in her community for her kids, and she's really amazing about that. Do I need to bring it closer? Okay. And then we have Linda Carter, and most of y'all already know her. She's the master at disaster preparedness, by the way. And bags stuff in 4:30 will be there. I know she'll find you. Okay, and then I'm Iris. I'm from Columbia. I'm also a very, I have many talents. Well, basically I'm Iris. My goal is to have finished with a master's, be a judge or something to really help athletes. And we have a little football player right here. He's going to be on the NFL. And y'all need to get his signature. Because, in a few years, he's going to be awesome. But, well, where are you? He's in 3rd grade, okay? So he's like a little, okay? And we have two case managers. Okay, they work with kids, and that's just amazing for me. Really, I'm pretty much speechless. They work and they try to make a difference, and they help. It's enough, and that's actually very inspiring for me. We had James, who was a big advocate from Illinois. He's not here anymore. Then we have Mr. Hector over here. And, let's see. National Spinal Cord Injury Association. He's actually, and he's an expert on that. And, yeah, we've got like really professional right here. But that's pretty much about it. Sebring, Florida, Southwest, Tampa Bay, Central, and I'm 4 minutes to the Georgia line, Lake City, Florida, Live Oak area. So that's it.
Thank you so much for that. Okay, so Iris, thank you. I would have expected nothing less than a detailed report that you just provided, which is outstanding. And in the interest of time, I'm going to hand the mic to the table. No, that was perfect. It was a perfect example. And what we want to do is say your team name and just kind of tell us the names of the people at your table. We're going to try and pass the mic from table to table pretty quickly. And hopefully there will be time during breaks and so forth. But I do hope you follow Iris's example and share more details with each other among tables, because there are some very talented people, everybody is in this room, and so many unique qualities, and I hope you get to know each other. So thank you for setting that example, Iris.
I'm Eric, and our table is really super 8s. Like I said, I'm Derek, and no husband, and this is Brenda, and this is Jerome, Tyrese, Denise, and John, and Bridget, woman.
Excellent. That's super 8s.
Thanks very much, John. Our team came up with the name Make It Happen. We have lots of wonderful people on the table. We have Caitlin, we have Mary Jo, we have Hannah, we have Amy, we have Claudia, Paula, my name is Alex Brown, and Karina. Make It Happen.
Make it happen. Sounds like a horse in the Kentucky Derby. Make it happen.
Our table is the Stigma Busters. We have Sarah, who's a native Floridian from Jacksonville, and she's working on her AA, and her goal is to complete her bachelor's. Elizabeth, who's from New Jersey, and Elizabeth's an amateur photographer, and she's a friend of mine from the New York State Renaissance Fair. And I'm Linda, and I'm a special ed advocate, and I'm a peasant in the New York State Renaissance Fair. That's my thing.
As you should be.
Yes, I love it. And I have Lori next to me, who's a paralegal and once was a chemist. And her brother, Michael, who has done culinary, but is also a facilitator. And what we have is a table where we have each challenges, but are successful and have accomplished many things.
Excellent. So the Stigma Busters. You guys need to get an ambulance and turn in like a Ghostbuster vehicle? Gee.
Okay?
My name is Steve, and I come from working with the 16ers. And the history behind that is most of us have been hanging in here for the 16 years we've been here. So we could call it dinosaurs too, but we thought. Speaking for myself, of course. So my name is Jeannie, and I'm from here in Seminole County, North Carolina. And we have Gil from Polk County, Gilda from Broward County, and Madison and Sharon and Kristen from Seminole County as well, and Kim's from Sarasota County. partners. Miami. To me, it's all the same.
Excellent. Sweet 16er. Thank you. Let this see.
Hi, my name is Ken Davis. This lady over here is Alberta. She's from Tallahassee, and she's a community advocate. The gentleman sitting next to me is Andrew Malley. He's from Largo, and he belongs to a company called Dash. I belong to a company called Dash. I'm from Largo. This is my wife, Doreen Davis. She's from Largo, of course. She is vice president of Dash. My daughter Beverly, who's artistic. She's just Beverly. She's a student at high school, and we're very proud of her. And this is Kat Manley from Safety Barbara. She's the president of the company Dash. Our table we're using is Dash, which stands for Disabilities Achieving Successful Heights.
Excellent. Dash. Thank you, Dash. Is everyone on this one? We'll get the table 3 in a minute.
Hello, my name is Rose, and at our table we have my daughter Enriqueta, our friend Angelina, we have Elizabeth, and Tracy, and Tangent, and Christina. Okay, and Christina. And because we are all from Florida, and because of where we are located at this very moment, we named our group the Orange Blossoms.
Orange blossom. Nice. What this say?
Hello, my name is Alberto, and we have Cindy.
We have speaking in the mic. Please.
Hello.
There you go. Sing it.
Okay, and we have Cindy from Miami. She's from college aiming for her early childhood degree. We have Sheree Cook, who's aiming for her English degree. We have Super Dad Ted, who's my husband, Cook, and then myself, I'm aiming for AA college. My son wants to be an advocate for people with disabilities, so his name's Robert Cook. Our team name is The Marvels.
The Marvels. Super and quick. The Marvels.
Our team name is Moving Forward. We have Rhonda, Paul, Noel, Cynthia, Megan, and Marie.
Team name Moving Forward. Great. Thank you. Moving forward.
Hi, we're the Eloquent and Exciting 8. We're from the Treasure Coast area, and we're mostly moms of some really awesome loved ones.
Thank you. Say names.
Okay, we have our facilitators, Christopher. We have the Sweater Cave, and Cameron over there who's taking the Sue. There's also Mom and Note Taker, which is Linda, awesome mom. Just takes care of all his moms, stay in contact. And Heather Mister, otherwise known as Lover of her 2 angels, and her, who's just an amazing mom and working with this person stuff.
Thank you. Eloquent 8. Eloquent and exciting 8. This gentleman here.
Our group is called the Fast Life, because I think we're all pretty close to achieving our goals.
Okay, what was the name again?
Fast Life.
Fast Life.
And then the names in our group is Sandra, Joan, Irma, Laura, Sue, Imperial, Victoria, Israel, and Audrey. And my name is Josh.
Fast Life. Thank you.
Hi. My name is Doris, and we are the Quick Thinkers. because we spent so much time talking about ourselves that we didn't have enough time to select the name. So we have to think. So we have wonderful people at this table that I need to share. Diana is from Brooksville, and Diana is very resourceful, and she wants to continue her education. Alex is from Tampa. She's very organized, and she wants to further her education too. Miss Migdalia is originally from Puerto Rico, and she lives in Port St. Lucie. She's a great grandma who cooks wonderful and wants her daughter to be able to communicate better with her and with everybody. Natalie is a great listener, and so she's here if you need to talk. And she wants to help her children to grow and become great adults. And Paula is very organized, and she wants to learn Spanish to help her with her Zumba. And then Sue Cannon here likes to grow things. That's her talent. She's a good gardener, and she likes to help families of young children get the support they need to have confidence and to raise their families. And she's my supervisor at the cinema, and I love her. And I'm Doris, and my talent, I can cook for more than 30 people, I can sing, and I can talk, definitely.
Quick thinkers. Does this group over here have, some new people just came in? I'll let you go for it there.
Just double minutes. All right, well, we have, my name's Chris. My daughter, Allie, is 15 years old and has cerebral palsy. And to segue into that, when she was younger, she was in the Early Start program, and we have two individuals who work for the Early Start program. We have Karen and Kelly. Karen was West Palm Beach, Kelly was Sarasota, and we have three new people at the table, and I have no idea who they are, so I'll let them introduce themselves and pass it on.
My name is Guy Hill. I'm Cecilia.
Thanks for coming. How about a team name?
What are the unknowns?
Yeah, the unknowns. All right. And I know there's a table of one over here. I think your name is Danielle. Is that on here? Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Danielle. To my grandma and I came in the house, and for a while I don't know this, I'm busy for this. Weekend time I grandma sang swimming for a while, first Alex way. So that's it.
Excellent. Would you like a biscotti?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think that stole the show. I think we did fine. Well, thank you, everyone. Those are great team names. I hope that you find some motivation in your team name. In fact, as you learn more about yourselves, you might actually evolve your team name and change things up. So maybe in the afternoon or something, you're going to do part 2. Different kind of team. I do want to tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm from the Chicago area originally. I live in Hastings, Nebraska right now, and my little town, Hastings, just narrowly missed some storms and tornadoes the other night. So there was a moment I was thinking, I wonder if I will have to call Lori and tell her that I won't be there. So I'm glad I did not have to say that, because it was really, again, a joy to be here with all of you. I feel under the gun now that I know that there's a professional facilitator sitting right in front of me evaluating, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. But I think Michael looks like a nice guy. You're a nice guy, Michael. So today is going to be hopefully meaningful to you at each of your individual levels. Try to create something that all of you can understand and work with. Some of you will be able to take material and drill down very deeply, very quickly. And others, you'll have a lot of questions, and hopefully your teammates at the table can kind of help you figure things out. So we have a lot of various talents and skill levels and expertise, so we'll kind of get through this together. The next thing I want to do is ask you to do a little bit of self-reflection. And this is going to be based on the handouts that you'll find in the folder. So you remember that story where I was on the rock, and I will come back to that and tell you kind of how that ended. But before we get to that, we need to start to look at ourselves individually and think about what it is we're trying to do with the time that is given to us. By the way, that's not my quote, of course. Any Tolkien fans in here who happen to either see the Lord of the Rings movies or read the books? Sorry, I will. Notice the second bullet point. Are there any spiders over there? Okay. You can edit that out, right? All right, so here's the ring. So, what was I saying? Just jarred my. Where was that? Thank you. Yes, we have a Tolkien fan. So Gandalf, the wizard, says something really kind of neat. He says, all that we need to do is to decide what to do with the time that is given us. It's a pretty interesting quote. And I like to think about it, but once you decide what to do, then there's the doing it. So we're going to try and do a little bit of both today. Focusing on what it is we decide to do, and then spend the majority of our time learning this tool about how to set goals and overcome hurdles and challenges and gather your resources and make sure you're able to do what you've decided to do. So let's look at these handouts. Number 1, 2, and 3. And I want you to take some time. We have about 20 minutes. This is going to take a little bit of thought. And you can talk at your table. Let's start out individually. Think about, if you can, as many as maybe 5 goals. If you don't have that many, that's okay. Write those down and look at handouts number 2 and 3 to help you think about who you are, what you're all about, what's important to you, that kind of stuff. I want to point out the words that are in red at the bottom of the screen. It's okay if the goals you write today are not the goals you end up pursuing. Okay? And these goals don't even have to be the most important goals of your life. It's kind of hard to walk into a workshop and just off the top of your head say, oh gosh, what am I going to accomplish, right? So don't feel stressed about what you wrote today, if it's the perfect thing or not. It's something we can work with for sure. This is a lot of thinking. Right now you might feel a little bit taxed on the inside. Those were a lot of questions. And by the way, how many said yes to being a Cubs fan? Anyone? Am I the only Cubs fan? Oh, you are. Excellent. Okay. Good. Well, at least I'm not alone in that. So Cubs are underdogs, usually. I don't think they've won anything since I've been alive. But there's something special about being a Cubby fan. And the reason I put that question out there, not only because I'm from Chicago area and it's my favorite team, and I want you to think about your favorite team, but when you think about role models in your life, and teams that you follow, or groups that catch your attention. You hope that they win and you hope that they succeed, right? And then if they don't, there's disappointment. Well, what do you do with that disappointment? And that's when you're thinking about someone else. How do we deal with our own disappointment when we look and say, you know, I was going to do that, and I didn't quite get it done. I tried to achieve this, and I only got this high. How do we deal with that? We're going to learn today, and hopefully we're starting to get a good start with these handouts, the questions that you've asked of yourself, the answers you provided. We're going to learn today that no matter what you do, everything is building towards the next success. Even what you might think is a failure in the moment, it's always the next step to the next success. So it's really a mindset. And I think actually Linda at this table said something to me before we got started along those lines, where she said, you know, it's not about winning, it's about everybody contributing and trying and doing so forth, doing your best. It's true. So the right mindset is going to be the first goal towards accomplishing your broader goals. Any questions at this point? Anybody need anything? Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute break. So if you have to stretch or leave, go get something to drink or snack on. We have cookies for sale, Yolanda. And we're trying to get back on time. We started with an empty room at 8:30. So thank you to the Family Cafe and our youth council for helping get this set up because the hotel had overlooked this room. We're going to get caught back up on track, so let's take a 10-minute break. And when we come back, we will dive into the stuff that you've just documented. And I've got one change that I'm going to make right now. I'm going to take off. I've taken off the mic. I'm going to try not using the mic. The reason is because I feel really subdued. Because if I want to talk loud and really kind of get going, I don't want to shout and blow you away with the speakers. So I've been kind of really subdued. That's just not my style. I'm more, my family calls me a spaz, and I want to be a spaz. So I'm going to try it. And if it's not working, I'll go back to the mic, all right? Can you hear me now? Yeah! All right. So here's what we're going to do. Each team, I want you to answer the questions on the screen regarding this phrase, getting the last domino to fall. What does that mean? It's obviously symbolic. You saw the brochure. You signed up based on your understanding of what you think you might get out of this. You'll understand this exercise in just a minute, but as a team, please answer these questions. What does each word mean? Here are the key ones. What is the last domino to each of you within your team? What is important about getting the last domino to fall? Why is that important to you? Is there another domino after the last one falls? A little bit of philosophy there, right? And then we'd like to share some comments in about 15 minutes. So take some time as a team and answer those questions, have a good discussion. I'll be walking around in case you have any need for clarification. What I'd ask that you do is we'll kind of go question by question. And if your team has something that you'd like, try and keep it very brief, kind of a paraphrase sort of kernel statement. So that, because we're short on time and we won't have a lot of time to drill down within each table. So hopefully you were able to do that among yourselves. But what are some of the kernels of insight that you'd like to share? And I'm going to ask Alex, because he's so good at it, to take the mic around because I will be typing. So I want to hear you and I want to type what I hear up on the screen so that we don't lose track of it, okay? Alex?
right here. Here you are, Sarah.
I think our group is really going to tackle two of the questions, not both, all of them, but the last domino to some of us at our table is basically an obstacle that you have to overcome, and it is something that you have to do before you can achieve your goal. And also it's to other people at our table, it's the last option that you have before you have to reassess what you need to do, and you have to sort of go over your plan and make a new plan to get to your goal. So some of us, it's achieving your goal, some of it's reassessing. And number 4, is there another domino? Yes. For some of us, yes, there is another domino. It's making a new plan to achieve your goal and doing it another way. You need to, before you assess, you have to figure out, how am I going to do this? What do I need to do so I can get there?
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, any other groups volunteer to go?
Yeah, perfect.
Deanna.
Okay, we didn't do question number 1. We first talked about the sense of dominoes of being your whole life, and that the last domino didn't fall until you died. But then we kind of looked into our packet a little bit, and we talked and we read about the colors, and so we talked about how each set of dominoes was leading towards a goal, and when the last domino fell, that was reaching that goal. But then there's a whole nother set of dominoes after that for the next goal.
Thank you very much. Oh, we got a couple hands up from my table. All right. We have Mary Jo right here.
I just wanted to share, Alex and our group was talking about wait, I'm not sure, what is the most important thing about,
Number 3, okay.
I don't know where it goes, but anyway, the thing of it is that it's about the interdependence, and that's what really came out, that, yeah, it's great to be independent, it's great to have your goal, but we work together, and with the dominoes, I just see it very visually, that if you don't, have the right distance, you're not going to look at the next domino. So it's that whole interdependence component of life that's very important, that we need to really evaluate and constantly be.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Iris back here.
I didn't even think of that.
Here you go, Iris.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Each word basically means, like steps that to your desired object, goal. And for number 2, some of the goals were, for my goal right here, he wants to finish middle school. And it's very, very, okay. And own a business for kids that in her community over here. She wants to have a YMCA, something like that. Something to really get kids involved in something else than alternative. And to open a shelter, just any kind of shelter. Whether it be for one specific group or and basically to just basically get through the day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and for a mom really wants a smooth transitioning her son into adult. So, okay.
Thank you, Iris and Group. Got another person back here. Rosemary.
All right, I just wanted to say that with number 2, the table this table, which was death, that they, what does the last domino mean to each of you? And that was just interesting that the table had that. We also saw number 2 was a form of procrastination getting to that last domino, doubt that you were going to achieve it, and knowing that when you did not get that last domino down there, it was never going to end, there would always be another domino. And number 3, what is important about getting the last domino to fall? We had accomplished, what, did we wait for you? And number 3, we had accomplishment, completion, that you're able now to move forward and move past it. Yeah, and this for number 4, is there another domino? My answer was just always.
All right, thank you very much. Any other groups? One. Oh, there we go. Here you go, Sharon.
Well, for us, we're not looking at the overall whole life, but different things that you set as objectives, different plans. And I thought, my personal feeling was that one of the hardest dominoes is to actually begin. See and say what you want to do. It's taking that step to begin and being committed to it. Dominoes stand for each step to achieve your final outcome, which would then, of course, be your final domino. The last domino to us, we were split. Some of us saw it as the completion of a project or a plan. I and some others viewed it as after you've completed the plan, the last domino should be your own personal summary and looking at how you did it, what you should have done, could have done, and would you do it again. And then we were also weighing the effects of dominoes because we're so overwhelmed in our lives that somehow or another if we put too much emphasis on a particular domino line, that it may become overbearing. So we are going to have to recognize that sometimes in the lineage of the dominoes, we're going to have to accept for ourselves that we may have to alter it as we're going down that path so that it doesn't become too weighty everywhere. And I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Any other groups? Yeah, yep. Here you are again.
And I don't know which one this falls under, but with everybody talking, it reminds me of if you ever watched all those songs in the fall, it starts out with one and then it branches off, and it comes back together again. So there's not a lot.
Thank you very much. We have this group. What's your name? Rhonda.
Basically, everything really has been said. One of the items we wanted to emphasize is prioritizing. It kind of goes off with what she was saying. Prioritizing your dominoes down to the simplest nature. Just to give you an example, if you end up in a health situation, you've got to take care of that health situation first before you can even look at your next domino. So just prioritizing your dominoes.
Thank you very much, Rhonda. Anyone else? All right, I'm going to turn it over to John now.
Thank you, Alex. Let's give Alex. All right. Hey, this is some really great stuff. Very insightful. And I have one word in mind. Let's see what's in the wallet. This is always fun. I like giving away money. Not really. This one's worth just $1. I think it can buy something from Yolanda. What's your cheapest item? Come on. What? 250? Holy mackerel. Gotta get that wallet back out. All right, so, hey, I got $3 more here. All right, so, I am thinking of one word that summarizes everything on the screen, okay? And there are a lot of words that could work. This is the What's in John's Head game, okay? So, and I want to put the caveat out there that, of course, there is no one word that could encapsulate everything. Sound check. Can everyone hear me okay without the mic? No? Can you hear me now? Stand in. All right. So, of course, there are many words, and at the same time, there's no one word that can capture the complexity of what you've been talking about. But I've got one that I want to be the focus of the rest of the day. You got one chance, and I'm only calling on hands. Rosemary, yours was first, I think. It is Rosemary. Light? Okay. No? Happiness? Great answer. No? Yes. Achievement? Get warmer? No? We're close? Good? Yes.
Prioritize.
Prioritize is necessary, but no? Yes. Success? Opportunity? Good words? Accomplish? Yes. Getting started. A goal. Hey, that's your second one. Persistence. Yes. Improvement. Yes. Focus. Achievements. Commitment. Dominoes. No. They're all related. Okay, I'm going to take 5 more. Yes. Persistence. Persuasive. Yes. Independence. Yes. Completion. Getting very close with completion. Yes. Experiences. One more. Yes. Oh, we're so close. PRO. Yes. No? Progress. Now, I know that all of you are saying, my work was better than progress. And I'm sure it was, right? Each word speaks to you. I think I better go back to the Yolanda's all over that. I love it. All right, so we'll try the hand mic because I can alter the sound. If I'm going to shout, I can do that. Yolanda, are you done making deals? Anybody else need a cookie? Right down. She's up. Over there. This is like at the ball game. Yolanda, wait, stop. I want you to walk around and say, hey, cookies! Cookies! All right. Every word that this group just said was fantastic. It fit, it applied, it meant something to you, and that's what's important. The way I saw this was, it's progress. It's moving forward in all of the different ways that you can think of. In a prioritized way, organized way, attention to time, looking at the details, are there multiple threads, all of the questions and variables. Good stuff. So good job listing all those. And by the way, I think I mentioned it earlier, but we can make all of these, I guess I should check with Alex, I'm assuming we can make all of these handouts as well as these notes available via email or on the website or whatever. So you'll be able to see the fine work that you did. I think some of these are very stimulating when you think about them as a whole. So good stuff. All right, let's get back to this. A metaphor. Your comments were right on target. That's a metaphor. Did you, without really knowing, if I say something was right on target, does everyone pretty much have an understanding of what that means? What does it mean to be right on target? Head on. Spot on, head on, right on. You're right, you're accurate, you're correct. You're right on target. Well, what target? Just a target, right? Are you shooting arrows? Are you firing a gun, a rifle, a crossbow? Are you throwing a shot put, javelin? You're right on target. Doesn't matter. We all know the general concept of a target. So that's pretty easy. So a metaphor, and I am an English major first, so I know this is not exactly the definition of a metaphor, so for all of English majors, please forgive me. In general, though, as human beings, we speak in symbols, and we communicate in metaphors and similes and comparisons and analogies. We know black because we know white. We know up because we know down. Okay, so all of this, the way we communicate is complex, but if we just sum it up as a metaphor, the reason I'm making this important point is because the dominoes are the metaphor for the day. I'm like, no duh, John, right? Just wanted to emphasize, because I want you after today to be able to go back and say, yeah, you know what, I got the metaphor thing, I got the domino thing, dominoes, that was easy, but I'm not a domino person. Okay, well then think of your own metaphor. Just like this group summarized in your own words that collection of statements, my hope for you is that you are going to figure out the metaphor that works for you to continue what we start today, and that is learning how to plan the domino path for the goals that are what you're trying to achieve. So on the screen, we have some new instructions. We're going to accomplish this before lunch, so we've got about 40 minutes, and we are going to break sharp at noon, if not a little sooner if we can, leave for lunch and start sharp at 1 o'clock, okay, so everyone has a time schedule. I would like for you to unbundle your dominoes at the table, and you're going to use handout number 4, which is actually the second number 3. I noticed that mistake I made, sorry about that. So if there's a number 3, then another number 3. Use the second one. That's the color code, what the dominoes mean. We're going to practice the domino metaphor as a group. We'll be using handout 5 to create your first domino path using one of the goals that you've already identified. So let's review the color code. The black domino. This is in your handout. It's the second number 3 there. This is me and my voice and my talents, and it's always the first domino. You are the prime mover of whatever it is you will do in your life. And for those of you who are spiritual, maybe God is your partner, and that's wonderful. And if you're not spiritual, maybe there's a role model in your life who helps motivate you, hold you accountable. That's wonderful too. Everybody has this in common. it comes down to you making decisions. Just like Sharon had summarized in her comments, knowing what to do, deciding what to do, and getting started are three different things. Only you can decide to do it. So that's the black domino. The white one, the resources, symbolic, kind of like the white knight, right? It could represent people or places or things, basically anything outside of me that could be helpful to me. You know what happens so often? People get trapped with trying to come up with all of the answers themselves. Now this particular group, I think, is very resourceful. I can't tell you how many times I've spoken to groups of people, organizations, where the light bulb goes on and they realize just how much of a vacuum they've been operating. They've been, all of the answers have to come out of them, as opposed to looking around and seeing who else is in the same situation, who can learn from, where are some additional resources. So look for your white knights. Red, like a stoplight, the hurdles, the blockages, like a stop sign. Anything inside of me or outside of me that can be a hindrance to accomplishing my goal. Anyone in here have any challenges with stuff on the inside stopping you from achieving your goals? I'll raise my hand. Anybody else? Yeah. It's pretty common. You know what? The first step of getting past that internal stop sign is acknowledging that about yourself and saying, how is it that I'm stopping myself? The green, steps that we take to reach our goal, like a green light to proceed. These are the tasks that I need to do and the things that need to happen for me to achieve my goal. The goal, the golden reward. When I reach this domino, I achieve my goal. It's kind of like the golden end of the rainbow. So I try to choose the colors symbolically so it's a little easier to keep track of them. And what I want to do is kind of practice a domino path. So if you look at the next handout, number 5, which is a 2-page handout, you'll see some blank dominoes on the first page. The second page has an example. Let's go to the example. So we're looking at this page, the one with the writing inside the dominoes. You turn this so it's sideways. Me, my voice, my purpose, the black domino. I want to do something I never thought I could do. Finish a 5K marathon. Okay, so let's go all the way to the goal at the far right. I finished the local 5K marathon this summer. I did it. I achieved my goal. I ran that marathon. No, I didn't really, but I'm just saying as an example. I wish I could do that, but it's not one of my goals. What are some of the resources I'm going to need? The white knight. I will need someone to help me train and help me endure. What's on the green? I will create a training plan, implement it, and begin to prepare myself. I find out with the red, the hurdle, not only am I not in shape, but I also know that I have a tough time with self-discipline for this kind of stuff. So what am I going to do to get past that? I'm going to have that training plan. I train hard and train a little extra because I'm out of shape and let my training buddy keep me on task. And the next one, sleep well the night before, eat the right food, and do my best during the race. And then I finish that 5K. Obviously, that's a relatively simplistic breakdown of preparing for a 5K marathon. The point here was to try and get you to see the relationship between the dominoes and how they work, how they fit together. So I'd like to go back to the blank ones and have you choose one of your goals. So from handout 1, maybe some of the questions you answered or thought about the answers to number 2 and 3, those handouts. Pick a goal, fill in the black domino and the gold domino. That's the first step. Fill in your black domino and the gold domino related to the goal that you want to focus, at least for this exercise. Remember, this picture we're doing up here does not mean that you're bound to this. Nobody's going to be checking up on you. I can if you want me to, but nobody's going to be doing that. This is all about you today. So does everyone have the goal that they'd like to focus on chosen? And write that in the gold domino. Does anybody have any questions or need any more clarification at your table? So the gold domino is filled out with your chosen goal to focus on right now. And by the way, we will be repeating this exercise a little bit more complex way a little bit later. So if you can't decide between two goals, that's okay. You'll have another chance to do another one. We want to practice this model. So in the black domino, I want you to write your beginning statement. I want to, I desire to, I am committed to. Whatever word or phrase you want to use to launch your domino path. Begin knocking them over. What is the powerful I statement that you're going to make? So you've got the beginning and the end. What goes in the middle determines whether or not you'll connect the two. Just like one of the comments, you have to have all the dominoes in the right place, set up just right to make it all the way to the end. So, before you fill in the colors, you might want to, maybe your little notepad, maybe make a list of the types of resources you think you might need. Make a list of the types of hurdles that you're aware of. Make a list of the types of activities, the actual steps that you think you might take. Because then you're going to kind of put those in order. You might find out that you need 3 different resources before you can even take one step to then lead to another step to then overcome a hurdle. The handout's pretty simplistic. It only has one hurdle in it. But you can kind of improvise. What I'd like to get to is the point where within your team, if you're comfortable, I'd like for you to talk through your domino path to the rest of your team. Again, if you're comfortable, if you're willing to do that, kind of set it up with the dominoes while you're talking. It would be really great to be able to see you push one over and see your goal be achieved, at least in domino form. That might sound a little hokey, but let me tell you, messaging on the inside of your brain with something tangible like this is far more powerful than you can realize. So if you're comfortable, go ahead and share at your table. Messaging inside, reinforcing and imaging, matching your goal being achieved. And attaching those images to something tangible helps it stick and helps you recall it to stay focused. It plants the seed of, commitment and ability to come back to the image of your mind that has meaning.
Right,
Any
so
clarification needed?
Part of under support is getting everybody else in the house to buy into what you're doing. So that, right, and so that would fall at the white domino.
So we're going to practice this a little bit, and that'll be kind of team competition here.
It would be a white and a...
We're actually going to jump to something that was going to occur after lunch. And I was hoping I could do this because we need to shave off a little time in the afternoon so that I think the bag stuffing can occur. So I want you to take a look at the screen. Each team needs to take these 10 statements and create a domino path. All right, so take 10 statements up on screen, and as a team, I want you to put those in order. They're kind of jumbled up. It's about someone looking for a job. Okay? Often a goal of many people is to find that job. Yes. Now that I have your attention, I can turn this back on. Okay, so I need you to take the 10 statements and as a team put them in order. And then I'm going to have the team that would like to volunteer come up in front and sort of demonstrate what they're talking about. It's the deaf group over there. They couldn't hear me without the microphone, right? Did you say you were too old to hear? I don't buy that. Quick thinkers. All right, so we have a group that's going to come to the front. You need to come over here. Watch your step. The quick thinkers are going to try and live up to their name. Here are numbers 1 through 10. I'd like you to put yourselves in order. So the audience is looking left to right. So number 1 starts over here. I guess not one, but the first statement will be over here. So put them in order, line up and hold them up so we can all see your answer. No, they can have two. Do you need more people? No, they can do
Just right there. Sandy, let me go get my vest.
Okay, I'm going to shrink this down just a little bit so that I can work with it. I'll blow it up once we have have her answer. Okay.
Yeah, you should have both. Would you come volunteer for us? That would be great.
All right, what's your first number?
You're at the very end for me, okay?
Number 7. Okay. What comes after that?
6. 2. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, 2.
Number 2.
And I'm a red, it's a hurdle.
You got a problem, what are your numbers going to change? Yeah.
That's why I'm repeating them below.
2.
Okay, and then what's your next one?
I'm number 6. The community college offers a class that will teach the skill I need. A resource.
Okay.
I hope we are in the
Then
right
number
position.
8,
Then number 8.
I'm taking a class to build my skills, and that's the step. Green.
Okay. And then what?
4.
No, white. White 4, I'm sorry.
Number 4, did you say? So 7, 2, 6, 8, 4.
Yep.
There is a job posting that I can apply for that fits my career.
Okay. What comes after 4?
3, my friend knows someone at the employer's business.
Let me finish. 7, 2, 6, 8, 4, 3.
And then 10, I'm not very confident with my interviewing ability.
Right.
Okay, and then what?
Number 1, I think it's someone can help me interview. Yeah, someone who
There's
will help
someone
me
who will help
practice
you
my
practice
interview.
your interview.
Number 9, I'm going to apply for the job.
Number 5, I've been offered the job.
Okay. Let's blow that up a little bit. All right, thank you so much.
Here's his numbers. We asked for money.
Thank you. All right, so let's hear it for the quick thinkers. Let's do a round of applause. All right, is there any group that would do it differently? I think this group had their hand up first before, so would you guys like to, might need well, you've got 10 hands, so. And actually, I might ask you to stand off to the left so that we're not blocking the screen. I guess I didn't think of that before.
2 and 6.
6.
No. Back at the end. 2. Here's 2. 2.
Okay, what would be your first one?
8 and 3. 7.
Number 7.
Okay. I got 8 and 3. Okay, 8 and 3. 9 and 10.
Does everyone agree
9 and 10 are
that
right
number
here.
7
And 1 and 5. Here's 1 and 5.
is the first one?
Okay. So 7, 4.
Okay.
Okay.
Alex.
What's your next one?
2, 2, and 6.
So 7, 2, 6.
Right. 2 and 6, then comes 8 and 3. Yeah, we got a 4. Right, 7 and 4.
7, 4.
7, 4, 2, 6.
Right,
Okay.
7, 4, 2, 6, then 8 and 3.
8 and 3.
Okay. Then
9 and 10.
9 and 10.
9 and 10.
And then 1 and 5.
1 and 5.
1 and 5.
Right.
You said 7,
7, 4,
4.
2.
2.
6, 8 and 3.
After 3.
9, 10. Then 1 and 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And your team name again? Who was that? What was
Stigma Busters.
Stigma Busters.
Stigma Busters. All right. Thank you, Stigma Busters. What do you all think of that one? Okay, so how many teams had this same pattern? This table over here, okay. How many teams had the pattern of the first group, the quick thinkers? Anybody else? That two back there, okay. So there's still potentially another way to do this, if not several. Well, we have 2 minutes to break for lunch. So I'm going to make a few comments, and we'll come back to this exercise after lunch. But I think it's interesting that, well, first of all, we all agreed that having passion, that this would be the first domino, okay? There's a job posting I can apply for that fits your career passion, okay? The job requires a skill I don't have, that's a hurdle. Community college offers a class that will teach that skill. Now, we are typically trained to think reactively, okay? So, if I were to say that number 2 is a hurdle and number 6 is a white knight. It's a resource. Resources need to be gathered before you can overcome the hurdle. Someone's shaking their head over there. No? Yes? No? Sometimes? Right. Her point, and what she's saying is to those who couldn't hear, that sometimes you don't know a problem is a problem until you discover it, and then, oh, well, I guess I don't have the skill, I'll go find the skill. And that's normal, everyday, reactive processing. It's how we work as human beings, right? The point of this is to try and think about the hurdles before we run into them, so that we can plan things out. Megan? Yes, sometimes the resource can solve the problem as well. So, when we come back after lunch, we're going to revisit this and talk a little bit about that twist of just that mindset to say, well, if I don't know what's a problem, how can I plan for it? Well, that's what good planning is trying to figure out what the hurdles are before you stumble over them. So that's really one of the key principles of setting up the dominoes. Thank you. Any questions before we break? At 1 o'clock, and I believe you can leave your stuff in here. Your homework, again, was to think about the goal that you would like to really focus on. And then I'll see you back here at 1 o'clock. All right?